Want to sharpen your game? Join the DFM Coaching Patreon for exclusive technique breakdowns and mindset training. Now, let's get started.
Welcome to Tap In. My name is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching, and today we're going to be discussing the sweet spot between being too aggressive and too passive during rolls. This is one of those difficult things to understand when you're brand new. When you're brand new, you're still hyped up on adrenaline and you don't want to lose, and there's fight or flight, this weird mechanics in you where you just feel like you're going to be embarrassed or people are going to judge you. So a lot of white belts come in and literally, regardless of the profession, a good percentage of white belts will come in and be too active or too aggressive. They will fight everything off as if it's their last breath. And there's going to be a small percentage of people that are really, really passive, not speaking to why either occur. For the most part, some people are just wired a certain way, and that's perfectly fine. Too aggressive will often look like you're chasing a tap, which I see quite often from white belts, because that's the win, quote unquote. You muscle through bad technique because you don't have a lot, so you're relying on forcing things to happen. Sometimes you're not cautious of your weapons, and I take that from MMA. I remember watching this referee discuss low blow, and he's like, you need to be responsible for your weapons. And I think he was talking about low blow or eye poke. I can't remember which. And that kind of stuck with me. When we're too aggressive, we don't understand our body in relation to their body. So sometimes people get elbowed. Sometimes people catch a forearm or a knee, or they fall a certain way. They fall on top of someone with very little care. Sometimes we are not that we're not worried, but we're not cautious of our training partner's safety because we're so wrapped up into what we're doing and what we should be doing. And I don't want to lose. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to, whatever it might be, that we're no longer focused on safety as a whole. And we just want to win that round. That's the aggressive side. Also, I've had people who are more advanced who are aggressive. And I had a training partner at one time. Hope he's not listening. I won't name names. But I remember he would pull my fingers when I got to a good position. And I remember the first couple times thinking, like, what the fuck? And then I remember being heated one day about it and finally saying something. And he was like, bad man, you're right. And I didn't know how to take it. But I knew that, hey, I'm winning this round. There's no need for any of this. And I remember thinking also, dude, you can completely turn this around. Like, it's not like I'm killing you. There's no need for this. And then too passive will often look like waiting for things to happen, giving up grips, like at that initial stage where you're supposed to be grip fighting. I see way too many students just allow their opponent to grab something. Like they grab the collar, grab behind the neck, spider grips, and then they are second to the battle. It drives me nuts. We often kind of confuse calm with being disengaged or passive. It's okay to be calm. I want calm students and fighters. But you have to be calm in the scenario that you're in, not giving up position and giving up a pass and a transition and a submission and saying I'm being calm. At that point, you're being passive. And we don't want to be passive, but we don't want to be super aggressive either. But we do want to find that sweet spot. That sweet spot is going to look, the best way I could put it is like when someone cuts you in line at the grocery store. You have the option of being passive and be like, fuck it, I'm not in a rush. Just letting them. Or the other side of that connection is sometimes we become passive aggressive and we're saying to our spouse or ourselves, look at this asshole. But we're not doing anything about it. And we're stewing in our issues. we need to understand that we have to be assertive. It's like having a debate. When we have this debate, I should have counters to their argument. And sometimes I should be first to the argument. And then sometimes when we're having a really heated debate, sometimes I run over their response. Sometimes I run right over their response. And I'm not saying that like I have debates all that often, but when you watch someone have a debate, whether it's political or a discussion somewhere online or whatever, there's a tactic where, yes, we're going to go back and forth. We're going back and forth. But there's going to be a moment where you got them on their heels and you just got to run them over verbally. That's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for this exchange where it's back and forth. It's an understanding that they're going to have their moments. And sometimes I have to accept that they're going to have their moments and I have to come up with a rebuttal. But I never not say something. I never just let them get their point off and just stand there. That's passive. If we're rolling and you get that first grip on my collar and I don't address the collar, then you start to collar drag me. And I don't address the collar drag by placing my hands on the mat and I just eat it. And then I don't address the fact that you're coming back up and now I'm in bottom position. That's passivity. I don't want my students to ever be passive. I want my students to be able to understand the situation that they're in and that they have all the right in the world to address that situation accordingly. So if you grab my collar, I get to break that grip. Or I grab a counter grip. Sometimes I don't bother breaking the grip. Sometimes let's say I'm in top and I'm passing, I'm on my feet and I'm putting my weight against your frames, chest over chest. Maybe I don't care about the collar grip because I'm giving you a response of you have to carry my weight and I'm about to pass. So I'm giving you a response that's equal to the one that you gave me. We have to understand that I don't have to be a willing participant in my demise. And oftentimes early on, students have a really hard time of imposing themselves. I will admit, when I was younger, I was a bit more timid. I had a resting bitch face, and I say that respectfully. I have one now, but I was timid when it came to certain things. I didn't want altercations. I didn't want physical altercations. I didn't want situations that would embarrass me. Currently, at my ripe age of, by the time this comes out, I think I'll be 45. I don't care if I have to have an altercation because sometimes that altercation is what I need to occur for things to not occur back to me. And what I mean by that is when I'm in a situation, whether it's work or personal, if I let people walk over me, they're going to continue to walk over me. When I address something, it puts them on their heels. So the same way I address something at work, when someone decides that they want to maybe disrespect me or disregard my role or my rank or my position or what I'm responsible for, when I address it, it puts them on notice. I'm not allowing any of this. That's what we're doing when we're sparring. We shouldn't be allowing our opponent to just kind of walk all over us. We should be addressing the things that are important to address. And then we should have responses to those discussions. So when we're going back and forth and we're having this physical debate, I need to have address the things that they're doing and then make them address the things that I'm doing. There should always be a give and go. When I'm training with partners that I really like and we're not like super competitive, I have a brown belt I love to roll with because it's always this give and go. It's give and go. Those are great training sessions. I'm not giving him everything he needs. I'm not giving him everything he wants. And I'm not passive where he's just running over me. I'm giving him just enough. And there's this flow of energy. He gets his moments. I get my moments. I'm studying or implementing a game. He's studying, implementing his game. And it's very cooperative. Those are great rounds to have. Great rounds to have. And then we're going to have these other rounds where it's going to feel more like an argument, but it's going to be a safe argument. I'll have training partners who I'm very competitive with. They're at my level, or maybe they're bigger because they're stronger. It creates more of an even playing field skill-wise, where I'm like, okay, we're just going to go at it. We're not going unsafe. We're safe. We're keeping each other accountable. We're making sure that no one's hurting the other. But we're going at it. I love those rounds too, because those are the rounds where I get to amp up my A game, and I get to see if they can respond to their A game against my A game. And I'm going to roll right through anything that I can roll right over. It's not as cooperative. It's still cooperative in a sense, but I'm trying to win that round, just like they're trying to win that round. They're not giving me anything that I'm not earning, and I'm not giving them anything that they're not earning. It's slightly different. When I have these rounds where my old instructor had this adage where he said, during a 6-minute round, if you're going against someone that's less experienced than you, give them 4 minutes. During those 4 minutes, they get to play. It doesn't mean that you're passive and you let them submit you, but they get to play. So if they're passing, I'm going to give them resistance according to their belt rank, their size. I'm going to force them into certain positions. I'm going to let them play from there. I'm going to let them pass maybe a little bit. And it's going to be more skewed to what they need. But I'm not going to allow them to walk over me. And in the last 2 minutes in that 6-minute round, I get to do whatever I want within being safe, obviously. I get to do whatever I want. Those are my 2 minutes. So I'm the more senior of the two. I gave you 4. You get to eat these 2. And I'm going to apply pressure. I'm going to wreck your guard. I'm going to submit you maybe 1, 2, 3 times if I feel like it, if it's there. I'm looking to dominate the position. So we used to do that a lot. And I remember him telling me that, and I've applied it to many training sessions because I understood that my training partner needs their time, but I also need mine. And I don't want to give up the full 6 minutes to allow them to play and understand things, and I don't get anything out of it. So I would apply that model. Sometimes when you're I was having a conversation with a purple belt from another gym, and he kind of mentioned he had a struggle with this. And I said something to the effect of, if I remember correctly, if they're bigger than you or they're at a higher rank than you, excuse my language, fuck them. You get to play your game. If they're at the same weight and belt as you, it's a toss-up. You both get to play your game. It's going to be one of those competitive rounds. If they're less experienced or smaller than you, you ease off the gas just a little bit. Doesn't mean that you let them win. In some cases, maybe they do the right things. And for example, if I'm rolling with someone who is a couple belts under me, and I want them to understand and get some confidence in something, if they're doing the right things, I might let them get the sub. They get to a certain point, they did all the right things, I defended, they countered the defense, and they get to a certain spot, and they submit me. Good job. Understand that it's not you didn't like really submit me. I don't want you to get that impression. But you did the right things, and I allowed the finish to happen. Just like an adult lion allows their cub to bite them and they feign injury or they roar out like it's painful. Same thing. You're letting the cubs play and learn and get to a certain level. Again, if things are equal, we're just going to have at it. If you are bigger than me, I have a couple of students that are blue belts who are larger than me and stronger. I cannot allow them to get to certain positions, or it's the nightmare for me. I might let them play in certain positions that I'm really good at, but if it's top game, we're not playing games. I'm not allowing them to get to north-south, for example, or to mount. No, thank you. So I got to amp it up. If the person's higher in rank than me, I got to amp it up. I don't have to take considerations for you unless maybe you're older. Maybe you got 20 years age gap on me and you're in your 50s or 60s. Okay. I ease up a little bit. But understanding that ease and that hit the gas is difficult for some people. But that's kind of what I've allowed to move me, or the way that I move. I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want me to get hurt. I don't need to destroy their confidence, but I also need to build on mine. So we have to kind of understand how that level of intensity is going to work, and the things that I'm going to do or maybe not do. And when there's people that I'm trying to show off on, don't get me wrong, I might not use my hands. I might give myself certain restraints to force myself to work on certain things because maybe they're not as skilled as I am. So I let certain things to happen. Maybe I let them get to a dominant position and I escape. Let them get back to the dominant position and I escape again. You really have to understand the dynamic. You don't have to apply the same mechanics to everybody. There's some people where they might be belts under you, several belts under you. But because they understand a specific position really well, you can't let them get there. You might throttle back the intensity in other positions, but in this specific position, I can't let you get there. I just can't. Try different things out. Understand that, again, with white belts, you can implement games. With people your own rank, it's going to be more of a 50-50, we're going to go at it. With higher people, you don't give them anything. What for? They're higher than you. They should know how to do jiu-jitsu and how to get to certain positions. I'm hoping this makes sense for the topic. If you have any questions and maybe I didn't touch on something or I should be maybe spend more time on something, let me know. DFM.2099 on Instagram and Threads. We also have a free school program. Link is in the bio. All my recorded workshops are on there. Q&A, technique of the day or the week. If you can do me a huge favor, like, share, review. This podcast would be huge for me. Until next time, thank you so much.